obviously not from India. And this is my second trip to Delhi. The first was on holiday, and I am very pleased to be back here again, this time for the ISACA CACS Conference. Firstly, I think we have a great support in today's event. I want to first welcome our distinguished guests who have participated or accepted the invite to be here, members of the ISACA Indian Chapter Boards, as well as the India Growth Task Force, ISACA members and conference delegates. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year is combating increasing IS risk and effective IT governance. You just saw a short video on COVID-5, and that emphasizes on that topic. This morning, I want to talk briefly on 3 areas that is of growing importance to us as members of the profession, as well as members of ISACA. The first is developments in the profession. The adoption of cloud is a word that we hear very often, both in the profession as well as in governments and in the commercial sector, has seen greater and increasing adoption. Governments are starting to build their own government private clouds. In Singapore, they are doing that. Privacy and data protection laws are increasing. Singapore this week is passing the bill. India, you have got yours. And some of our members from other locations, such as Japan, are seeing the same thing. Global, regional, and local organizations will need to assess how to cope with compliance with these new emerging regulations, how to stay out of trouble, how to make things better. The risks of non-compliance, the liability, the unwanted publicity, these are all things that everyone wants to avoid. IT organizations, they are changing. The use of cloud threatens the traditional IS-IT model. Outsourcing is starting to come in. We will talk a bit about that throughout over the next 2 days, because everybody is pressured to deliver more and sometimes for less. Regulators and audit committees and enterprises are putting more focus on operational risk management, embedding new and additional role of governance, risk management, security management, not forgetting compliance roles as well in the area of IT, and in focusing on continuous monitoring of day-to-day operations. This creates demand for people with the right skills, qualifications, and knowledge in order to deliver on this. In Singapore, again to share from my perspective, the Corporate Governance Council released the risk governance guidance for listed boards. This is something that is available. If you do a Google search or go to MAS, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, to download. And why I'm highlighting this is because in there, in the guidance as provided, there is specific focus on the areas of technology risk that is the responsibility of the scope of the boards that they should pay attention to. So in this appendix, which are on quite a number of pages, there are 9 risk areas that have been identified. What are these 9 risk areas? The first is IT governance and oversight, right at the top. It leads to the tone that is important to be set, because the lack of it makes it difficult to implement. So it is clearly defined that there is a need for IT management controls, governance controls, including identified persons, functions, business units responsible for managing, coordinating the relevant controls and security requirements being very crucial. The others, which are not new to us in this profession, information security policies and standards, compliance, data loss protection, cyber security, data privacy, new generation technologies, we are seeing a lot of that. Much is still unknown, and the security risks associated with this new generation technologies, whether it is open source, whether it is cloud computing, whether it is mobile technology and virtualization, the IT industry itself is still at an early stage of developing the security standards, as we have seen. And how do we, in our profession, measure up in terms of understanding and delivering on it? The last 2, outsourcing. Outsourcing has been around. The value proposition is clear. There are many service providers in this area. India is clearly one of the players in this market. There is the risk of 4th, 5th, 6th outsourcing. How is that managed? How is that well known? The regulators are very, very curious and very, very keen on managing the risks on that. Lastly, incident management and business continuity planning. A better word these days perhaps is the word resiliency, which you may have heard of. The UK government and various governments have set up resiliency organizations to deal with this. And this is in link with one of our S22 strategies, which I'll talk a bit later in this keynote. So what does it mean for us? I think it bodes well. It means that expectations and demand for assurance and security, enterprise governance, management of IT, IT-related risks, compliance professionals can only increase, and therefore we take comfort that yes, we are in the right position, but it is also a demanding one which requires us to scale up our skills. I want to move on to ISACA in India. I see largely a lot of people from India participating in the conference, but I think it's also interesting that at least five countries that are participating in this event today. There are currently over 6,000 members of ISACA in India. This is an over close to 18% increase in membership over last year, and 5,300 ISACA certifications. I did a quick poll last night on the website. ISACA is second to North America with the most ISACA chapters, and today it stands at 10. I hear there are 2 more in formation. To support the growth of the profession and research, ISACA established the India Growth Task Force in 2009. The task force is chaired by Mr. Niraj Kapasi and Mr. Avinash Kadam, who serves as an advisor to the group. They, along with the task force members, are currently focused and working with groups such as ITRBT, RBI, and many other India esteemed organizations to see how ISACA can better serve the professionals and its constituents in India. Last evening, a meeting was held with representatives of the following organizations who participated: the Institute of Chartered Accountants in India, CERT India, Controller and Auditor General's Office, Unique Identification Authority, Navy CIRT, Data Security Council of India, Ministry of Railways, Centre of Railway Information Systems. The task force also recently released and exposed a document securing sensitive personal data using COVID-5 for the India's IT Act. They are now combining comments for the final release. I urge all of you to visit the India-specific area of the Knowledge Center, in case you are not aware, where you can download the complementary document and join in the conversation about India-specific issues, and this is also available at isaca.org/topic-India. In order to better serve our members and raise awareness of ISACA, which is very important, there are quarterly webcasts that has been developed, and next week on the 20th of September, ISACA will host its 3rd webinar for the year entitled, "Is Your Data Protection Strategy Good Enough? Evaluate for yourself." And Manav Khanna from SafeNet, one of our sponsors for this event, will be the speaker. We welcome everybody's participation. Recently, ISACA also started organizing virtual conferences. I have participated in them, and if you have not, you should. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't require you to travel, doesn't have visa requirements. But I don't know if you're aware, but there were close to 1,300 registrants from India for the 2011 event. So for the 2 new chapters in formation, Ahmedabad and Jaipur, we look forward to them being formed so that they can serve the members in those areas soon. Lastly, I want to talk about ISACA's strategy for the next 10 years. It's called the S22 strategy. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. But all this is to deal with the change that are coming and what you have heard. We started as EDP-AA many years ago, for those of you who remember. Today, as ISACA, we have put in place a strategy, and this strategy is to help us ensure 2 things. One is to ensure that we provide and continue to do so in the area of knowledge, education, certifications, as you have seen the change and increase, membership on our information technology governance, as well as the management of risk and governance of information systems, while not forgetting the need to optimize on value. ISACA also recognizes that in order to provide membership the speed to knowledge, we cannot do this alone, and there will be a need to collaborate with other organizations as partners who already possess the expertise and credibility in the areas outside our traditional field. You'll be aware that Trevor Hughes, President and CEO of International Association of Privacy Professionals, is here with us today to share with us on this important area. Today, we have 98,000 members, 190 chapters in 160 countries, and more than 300 volunteers. Why am I emphasizing this? The membership today is what it is through the effort of volunteers, as well as the excellent support team led by Susan Cadwell, CEO, and more than 100 officers and staff back in Chicago. And more volunteers are needed to achieve this 10-year vision. And to do that, it means that there will be a need for local members, whether it's from India or any other country, to create new and customized knowledge relevant to your economy, your jurisdiction, such as local privacy laws and governance requirements. And this conference also would not have been possible without the efforts of the volunteers here. So therefore, this is a call for those of you who are thinking about it or who have not thought about it, to come forward, go to the website, participate as volunteers. We are never having enough volunteers. Through the invitation to participate process. It's a very simple form, doesn't take more than 10 minutes to fill. And share your area of interest, and somebody will reach out to you to take the rest of the process forward. And in my experience, having served in ISACA at the local chapter as well as at international level, you will gain more than what you contribute. So what's there over the next 2 days? I think you will hear many different points of view from the diverse range of speakers from commercial as well as public sector in the areas of their expertise in dealing with the current challenges that we want to talk about. There is a very rich mix of international and domestic topics, as well as the Indian privacy laws that we talked about. The demand for information security, risk management, IT governance and audit will continue to grow as expectations grow, and this will be driven by new, innovative, and creative ways and technologies that we will use to adapt, leverage, and exploit in business as well as in the profession. And on the same track, we will need to continue to be mindful of the new technologies that will emerge, perspectives that will need to be developed, as well as what are the methodologies. In short, it reaffirms that the profession is on the right track and ISACA vision is correct. I want to take a moment to thank the chapters, the Indian Task Force, the volunteers and ISACA staff people behind the scenes who have worked very hard to plan, organize this event. And it is this spirit of dedication and volunteerism and support that all of you have made, as well as in participation, that have made this event possible. I think I'd like to take a moment to give an applause for all of them. So on this note, I wish everyone a very informative, insightful, and enjoyable conference over the next 2 days. And to the foreign delegates, I hope you have a little bit of time to enjoy India in the spare hours before you make that trip back to the airport. Thank you very much. I want to take a moment now as we move on to our next agenda item to introduce our moderator for the next event. His name is Avinash Kadam, you heard me mention, CISA, CISM, CIGIT, and CIRIS. Mr. Kadam is a leading authority on information security. He has 4 decades of experience in information technology management, information systems audit, information security consulting, as well as the area of training. He is currently advisor to India's task force of ISACA, and before joining ISACA, Mr. Kadam was a director at MIEL eSecurity Private Limited for 11 years. He has served as vice president of ISACA International Board for 2 years, from the period 2006 to 2008. He was president of ISACA Mumbai chapter from 1998 to 2000, and he's the recipient of ISACA Harold Weiss Award for 2005, given to recognize dedication to IS audit, control and security profession. He is a regular contributor of the column Technology and Risk in Information Week, and he holds a Bachelor of Engineering, Mechanical, AMIE Electronics and Telecommunication, and Masters in Financial Management degrees, as well as a string of information security certificates which he teaches. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Avinash Kadam.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this ISACA CACS Conference. John has already made my job quite easy, giving the background, talking about the concerns, and which is what we are going to take forward through this panel discussion. The panel discussion is about current trends that impact IT professionals. IT professionals like you and me. So the way I'm going to go about this panel discussion is, for the next 15 minutes or so, I'll make a brief presentation, show all the current trends that really impact us. Raise your blood pressure, right? Once done that, once my job is accomplished, then I'll invite the moderator, then I'll invite the panelist who will further take my job, maybe raise your blood pressure or may try to give solutions to you. They will present their views about the current trends that impact us. And after the three panelists have stated their views, then we'll open the forum for discussions. This presentation was made by my friend Robert Stroud, who is a past international vice president at ISACA. He made this presentation at North America CACS. I had taken this presentation as it is, realizing that whether you are in North America or in Europe or in India, the trends seems to be affecting everybody, the same type of concerns. So to that extent, we have really become global. So let's look at maybe some percent figures would be here and there. 73% workers will be mobile by 2012. What does it mean? No perimeter. People are traveling, using their iPads, their mobile phones, logging in from anywhere. They are constantly mobile. And how do you control the perimeter-less, boundary-less universe? 62% IT organizations have flat or reduced budgets. That's not a good news. We are expected to do more with less budget. By 2015, 40% of the enterprise security controls will be virtualized. Virtual firewalls, virtual IDS, virtual operating systems, virtual operating system security, hypervisor security, all new challenges. 63% of the companies are using or implementing SaaS solutions. So you don't need to develop anything in-house. Anything that you require, you just use it from the cloud. So it starts looking like that more than IT professionals, we also have to become lawyers to be able to understand the fine print of each and every contract that we are signing. And probably that's what is in the next line. There are still over 4,000 new rules and regulations issued by US government. And I don't think India government is lacking behind. We already published this paper about securing sensitive personal data information, and probably we'll listen more about the new laws, new regulations, new rules that are being planned to be imposed on us. So we have to cope with all this. Change is accelerating. Low-cost cloud services will be cannibalized up to 15% of top outsourcing players' revenue. So what does it mean? We have to learn new technologies. Maybe we have to start learning and promoting private cloud solutions. Otherwise, you don't do it, you lose it to the service providers. 2015 mobile application development projects targeting smartphones and tablets will outnumber native PC projects by a ratio of 4:1. So again, no new projects or less number of projects because anything that you want to do is already there is an application app somewhere, and that can do it much better than what we are proposing. So search for any app that you want. You want an app for mosquito repellent? I believe even there is an app for that sort of application, right? So absolutely mind-boggling. Anything that you want to do, there is an app available. You have got some skin-related, dermatologist-related issues. By this app, Skin Scan, and that will diagnose and that will probably replace the visits to dermatologist. Just think of it. What are the new normals? Complexity is slowing productivity. So our capability for delivery is going down. The last line, bottom line. IT budgets from the financial crisis, they are reduced and not going up at all. Business is demanding IT-enabled business capabilities day by day. They see an application, they see something happening so easily, so intuitively. If that app is available, why you can't develop that app for my business? And the rate of technological change is growing phenomenally. Yeah, these figures stop making sense. Billions and billions and billions. Just look at it. There are more devices than entire population of the world many times over, right? If anybody has read, it's a little old generation classics, Isaac Asimov. In one of his novels, he wrote about robots ruling the world, and which looks like a distinct possibility. Robots will rule the world. Not only rule the world, they'll communicate very easily through internet. Yeah? So where is going to be the place for you and me? Cooperation of things. Think of it. Everything seems to be interconnected. Everything seems to be smart, intelligent. You have got smartphones combining everything. Phone, computer, internet device, music device, camera, video, everything into one. You have got smart cars, has everything, the airbag module, the engine control module, the light, door, lock, window safety, cruise control, instrument panel, anti-lock braking module, transmission control. Not only that, the cars are so smart that they talk to each other. They can instantaneously set up a local area network and would be able to alert other cars if there is an impending danger of a collision. So that's the sort of smartness embedded systems are providing. Sensor networks, medical monitoring, pacemakers controlled by wireless technology. And I read one article which says the doctor configures the pacemaker or the insulin pump or the implantable any device using his iPad or Android phone. And what if that Android phone or the iPad is infected by some virus? What happens to those implanted devices or those insulin pumps, and those are controlling all the medicine by drip irrigation sort of method and providing you life support? Yeah, so sensor networks. Pervasive computing. We have heard about all these stories. Your fridge keeping control over everything that is stocked in the fridge and telling you whatever, eggs are over, butter is over, while coming in the evening, fridge has already placed the order with supermarket and immediately you have to just pick it up, or even the delivery will come to your home, right? So everything seems to be connected to everything. Cooperation of the things. Mobility accelerating business. Faster and faster, better and better. Huge advantages we have seen ourselves. Money getting transferred instantaneously, RTGS, NEFT, booking our train tickets, booking our air tickets, ordering gifts, e-governance, online tax, online forms, passports, mobile commerce. Everything is speeding up the business fast. And once that is happening, you have to make sure in your business, you have the competence to give the business the same technology, same advantage at the same speed that you are experiencing everywhere. We cannot control IT any longer. There are no boundaries. 40% of the enterprise will make proof of independent security testing a precondition for using any type of cloud service. End of 2016, more than 50% of global 1,000 companies will have stored customer-sensitive data in public cloud. And what if the data gets compromised? You are the one who is accountable for that. And you are not even, it's not even possible for you to put controls in all these places where your data is being stored, his data is being used. So how many controls are enough? Yeah, even for a bicycle theft, you can think of as many controls, and none of them are going to make it safer. So when it comes to your data, your applications, what sort of controls that you can think of. Big data, big news, big items. More data in one day in 2011 than between 1995 and 2000. What 6 years data was produced, now it is in one day. A child today can access more information than a physician 15 years ago. $600 by a disk drive that would store all the world's music. So we are coming to the consumer-driven IT. Earlier we used to say IT users dependent on us. They would be working on the devices inside the office using your local area network Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 on the devices that we prescribe. They cannot just like that bring their own devices or have any fancy gadgets accessing the information of your corporate LAN. Today, they are no more IT users, they are IT consumers. Self-service, location anywhere, 24/7. Midnight one gets up and starts scanning, starts looking at emails, starts browsing, starts booking ticket. 24/7, they can be accessing information. They are the IT consumers. And they want full flexibility, full scalability. If this is what your organization expects from you, because this is what happening everywhere, they are the trends. And you are expected to make sure that you do not treat your IT users as somebody dependent on you. If you do not provide that service, they can go to somebody else and get that service. Privacy, is it an issue? So this talks about percent of 25 to 30-year-old who share the following information online. Personal address and phone number, more than 60%. Personal financial information,